Isaiah 3:10 says, "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat of the fruit of their doings." I want to talk about good news for the righteous. Again, the verse says, "Say ye to the righteous, it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings." Good news for the righteous. I don't know if you've had a chance to read Isaiah chapter 3 as of yet, but when you read it, you're going to see that it is a chapter that's filled with calamity, filled with judgment, filled with oppression, filled with punishment. There are 26 verses in chapter 3 of Isaiah, and it is a depressing chapter because it's God warning Judah that he's going to bring judgment upon them because of their lack of faithfulness to him. When the captions of your Bible is going to just give judgment after judgment, calamity after calamity, God has had enough and he is bringing his judgment. And if you're not careful when you read it, you'll read it like you live life, whereas you focus on all of the bad that's being mentioned. And you'll miss that one verse, verse number 10, which says, "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with them, for they shall eat of the fruit of their doings." The whole point is we can become so consumed with what's wrong in our nation, what's wrong in our families, what's wrong in our finances, in our health, and in our future, that we can overlook the one word that God has spoken that can change everything. You can be in a dark place, a dark room, and the darkness can be so overwhelming until you don't even recognize that there's a candle over in the corner. We live life that way. We handle situations that way. It can be a terrible situation, and I don't deny the fact that some things are indeed terrible. But in the midst of it, there are times when God gives a word. And the word that he gives here, in the midst of all of this other stuff that Isaiah has to say to Judah, he makes one statement, one verse, and that is that 10th verse. "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings." Few things I want to bring out. One is that God always leaves a word of hope for his people. He always leaves a word of hope for his people. Even when he goes through this whole list of things that he is going to judge them regarding, he says there in the middle of it, "Say ye to the righteous, it shall be well with him." And it's significant that God did not wait until chapter 4 to encourage the righteous. He spoke while the judgment was still being announced. He did not remove the darkness uh, from the pages, but he just spoke in the middle of it. He placed hope in the middle of the darkness. And that's how God often works. You know, when Israel stood at the Red Sea, God gave them a word. When Daniel went into the lion's den, God gave a word. When Paul sailed in the storm, God gave a word. And here, while in uh, chapter 3, with Judah hearing about the coming judgment, God pauses and says, tell the righteous something. Our God always has been known to speak hope into hopelessness. So he always leaves a word of hope for his people. And sometimes we can get so enamored with the difficulties of the situations that we miss his word. Say ye to the righteous, it shall be well with him. The second thing, don't miss God's promises because you're watching the problem. Oh, we do it so often. We get so engrossed and so overwhelmed by the problems that we miss the promise. It is easy to become students of everything that is wrong. We know the latest headlines. We know the latest crisis. We know what the politicians are saying. We know what the economists are saying and predicting. We know what's happening in the culture. But do we know what God has said? Because you can know what's happening in the headlines. And when you know what God has said, the headlines don't even matter. You know, Isaiah's audience could have spent all their attention listening to the judgment and missed the promise like we do. Many believers, we do the same thing today. We rehearse our fears more than we repeat God's promises. We meditate on the news more than we meditate on his word. The chapter is filled with judgment. 26 verses, but 25 of them is judgment and calamity and wickedness and destruction. But you don't need but one word. Just one word. Just one word. We are called to live not by the other 25 verses. We are called to live by verse number 10. And it's not because judgment is not real. It is real. It's not because darkness is not real. It's not because difficulties are not real. But it's because God's promises is more decisive than our fears. It doesn't matter how tough things might get. God's truth is stronger than the toughness that we face. So don't allow the problems to overshadow the promise. The third thing that I see, and then I'm going to quit because I'm getting happy, and that is that the promise is personal. It's personal. It's not to everybody. God does not say it shall be well with Judah. He does not say it shall be well with the United States. He does not say it shall be well with America. He does not say it's going to be well with Africa. He does not say all of that. He says very specifically, tell the righteous, say to the righteous, it shall be well with him. And that's wonderfully personal. The righteous would experience many of the same outward circumstances as everyone else. He's not saying that the righteous are not going to go through these situations. He didn't say that we would not see the nation's decline or that we would not endure difficult days. That is not what he said. But he said, it shall be well. That's what you got. That's where you got to hang your hat. That's where you got to put your faith. It shall be well. Circumstances might exist, but it's still well. Problems might come, but it's still well. Because God's promises has never been based on the conditions of the nation. He has never had to allow his promises to depend on what's going on around us. So he says, say ye to the righteous, it shall be well with him.